Good evening and welcome to another edition of the rigging and the manipulation of the stock markets. I'm Rich Coolbaugh, your host. I'm taking you back tonight. It's May 25th, 2024. I'm taking you back to 2008 when all the shenanigans started at the central bankers. In 2008 and 9, at that time, we had free markets up until 2008. And when Barack Obama came into power, he got together with Rubin and Geithner and Hank Paulson, the Treasury Secretary, and of course Ben Bernanke, the Fed chief. At that time, they took capitalism away from the American trader, where you and I trade as traders and speculators. We set the price. We no longer had that freedom. The freedom of the free markets was taken away from us by Barack Obama and Joe Biden, along with Ben Bernanke, the Fed chief. They decided that instead of earnings and profits, they're going to now dictate the price of the bond market. They attacked the bond market, the biggest free market in the world. And Ben Bernanke started his money printing press and decided to screw every saver and CD buyer in America. Up until Barack Obama got into power, you can go literally into any bank and get a CD 5% paying 5% or money market paying 4%. They decided at that point to screw every saver in the United States. They decided at that time not to have free markets. Just like in communist China, they attacked the bond market, the biggest market in the world, and they started buying billions. They started at $45 billion a month, then it went up to $85 billion a month, and Ben Bernanke, the stupid guy that he is, in fact, he created the bust. He is a free money dolt. All he knows is to print money, that's it, and print money was supposed to cure everything. So you can Google this if you want to fact check me. In 2009, Barack Obama and Joe Biden were pictured all over the news, in the newspapers, on television, saying they needed $800 billion for shovel-ready jobs, and they were pictured with shovels in their hands. Huh, this is hilarious. They asked Congress for $800 billion or the world was going to end. What did they do with the shovel-ready jobs that were supposed to create something like 300,000 workers? It was 300,000 jobs. They immediately, as soon as Congress approved it, the next day they gave it to the banks that caused all the heartaches across America. The banks, could you believe it? You talk about devious central bankers, presidents and vice presidents, and Hank Paulson. It was, I believe, at the time, to save his brother save his brother's savings at Goldman Sachs. They gave the money to Goldman Sachs and all the other bankers, the thieves that they were, stealing from the American people, and they said, screw the American worker and screw the American saver. At that time, communism took place in this country, where markets were no longer free, but under the dictatorship of a central authority, and that central authority being Ben Bernanke, a Fed chief, at the Federal Reserve, okay? So from 2009 until 2022, until 2021, November of 2021, they kept their finger on the printing press, printing as much as $15 trillion. 15 trillion. Not for the economy, but for the well-educated and elitists that control the Federal Reserve. They wanted that stock market to get up and running, to return all the losses that the elites in this country had lost. They not only regained that, they made millionaires into billionaires and billionaires into trillionaires. And so we continued to keep interest rates at zero until November of 2021. Then the free market said, F you guys, you had enough. We had enough of your printing press. And they ignited inflation. So for 8 months after inflation hit Ben Bernanke and Janet Yellen and Jay Powell in the face, they punched the hell out of them. They stood there like three stooges, not knowing what to do. Well, they knew what to do, but they didn't want to do it. So the free markets took back all the reins and started setting the interest rates. And as of this point, the interest rates from the setting by the free market is 4.55% as I speak. This, you got to laugh. All these minions that come out that are Fed chair minions and dolts, they think they're celebrities. They come out and they give speeches every day. God knows how much money they're paid to do that. They come out and they give their opinions. Well, you know, opinions like all of us, we all have assholes, just like opinions. That's all they are. They know that they cannot lower interest rates. Jay Powell should be put in jail. 6 months ago, he came out and said he's actually going to reduce the rates by 3 or 4%. He's going to have 3 to 4 rate cuts. Well, that set off the October low of 2023 and created the big, massive bubble we now have in the stock market. This guy's a real con artist. He is a con man like no, the world has never seen. He knows he doesn't set the rates anymore, that the free markets are doing his work. But he continues to mumble some bumble and jumble every 2 or 3 months, him and all his minions. But he sends his minions out every day to give speeches. Speeches on what? They're guessing they're going to bring inflation back to 2%. They're dreaming. The free markets are now at work and setting the interest rates 4.4, 4.5%. And that will continue because they have created a massive ocean of money that's still sloshing around in the system. These guys all should be, every one of them should have been put in jail. But not one of them went to jail, not one was indicted, let alone going to jail. And all the banks, it took some as long as 9 to 12 years to admit their guilt, that they were selling bogus bonds and then shorting them, especially at Goldman Sachs. This is the background that we're setting for telling the American people what's really happening in the stock market. They know that they can't come close back to their 2% in target rate, which is arbitrary in the first place. These guys are a bunch of hucksters and thieves. It's amazing. President Kennedy said we should do away with the Federal Reserve, and there was another president that said we should do away with the Federal Reserve, and we all know what that happened. Both the presidents are dead. So the whole theory of the manipulation is that they kept zero interest rates, and when the pandemic hit, Jay Powell immediately took interest rates back to zero, and the stock market shot up over 800%. 800%, while the average working American was trying to make a living. These guys were making billions and millions and billions of dollars on the stock market by rigging it. Of course, the Federal Reserve has been rigging everything since 1792, if you go back in history. So these bunch of bums, I don't know what they ever did for the average person, but I know what they did for the millionaires and billionaires. That concludes my little rant this evening on May 25, 2024.